All right. Hi, guys, and welcome back to the Honey Podcast. I'm Danny. This is Bibi. And today we will be buzzing over very special guests. Joining us today is Michael Beveraggi. Did I say it right?
You killed it.
Yay!
Yeah.
I was so nervous about that. Yes.
So perfect.
Awesome. So, Michael, you are a really well-known creator of, you do music and film commentary, and you also are creating your own music now, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Awesome.
All three, big umbrella, yeah.
Yes. Well, we've got a lot to talk about with you today, so that's awesome. Okay. Again, we just want to say thank you for joining us and coming out, and welcome to the Honey Podcast.
Thank you in every way, seriously. It's so awesome.
Of course, we're glad to have you. And of course, I got to start off with this question. Can you tell us a little bit about your own music? Is this a new kind of endeavor for you? And yeah, just give us all your details about your music.
Yeah, for sure. So part of even starting the channel, one of the many reasons was the fact that I've always made my own music, but was like always way too shy to share that with anyone. And I feel like starting the channel and putting myself out there like that is a good way to kind of break that wall down slowly but surely. And then gradually we'll start diving into more of me sharing my own personal music, which I'm putting together as we speak, and it's going very, very well.
That is really super exciting.
Thank you.
That's a perfect way to kind of jump into the music industry too, I think. I feel so like too. It's a great idea. Yeah. It's not easy to put yourself out there like that. So for sure. That's awesome. What kind of, can you tell listeners what kind of genre and stuff like that?
Yeah. So it's pretty R&B mostly, because it's the stuff that I grew up on and it's like stuck inside of me.
Yes.
But there's like some serious like acoustic-y singer-songwriter stuff as well.
Awesome.
It's like a kind of that mix. It's pretty pop, I guess, overall.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's seriously awesome. I can't imagine making music. I just like to listen to it and talk about it. So
that's just as fun. It's just as fun.
Exactly.
That's just as fun, like equally as fun.
So what encouraged you to start making music?
Listening to it. Like it's really that simple, honestly. Well, there was like I was in elementary school, and they had like a mandatory choir that you had to be in, and then I was like, it was 5th grade, and I'll never forget Mr. Brewster. So shout out to you. He's not watching this.
Hey, he might.
Yeah, you never know. He heard me and he was like, oh my gosh, like where does that come from? And this is his words. And then that was the first time anyone ever said in my whole life, like, you sound okay. And I just took that and ran with it. And
That's
then
awesome.
Listened to music my whole life.
Yeah. You got to love teachers like that push you to do the things that you never thought you could.
Everyone has one moment, I feel like everyone that makes music has that one moment where they remember, like, yeah, this is where it clicked right away. We're like, yeah, maybe I can do this.
And I'm sure, I think you'll have a great music career. So that's awesome. I'm glad that teacher was around.
Yeah,
of course.
Wildly nice of you.
And a favorite question of ours to ask, of course, musicians is what is your like music making process and your writing process?
It's so, it varies so much. I write everything down. I don't really use notes apps, which I know is like the way to go in 2020, 2021. But I write everything down. I have like notebooks everywhere. And I try and write as much as I can. I don't like going a long time without doing it. My phone is doing that.
No, I think it's mine too. Honestly, it just been mine too.
Yeah, because I don't really believe in like writer's block. I feel like that's something that I work through best I can. And I'm also an extremely emotional person, like to the extreme where anything that I intake affects me, whether it's like music or film. So if I'm watching something or listening to any song that I might be listening to or watching a movie that will make me cry for the 20th time, like I'll immediately be hit with some sort of feeling from my memory that makes me want to go write something down and turn it into a song. So it's a lot of sad music.
I feel that. We've said this before on the podcast. I love crying. It's like the best emotional relief.
Isn't it the best?
It really is. I don't know if you guys are into astrology at all, but I'm a Cancer, so like I cry at everything. It's just like
that's a Cancer thing.
Yeah.
I am very confused by astrology. Like, I know I'm a Gemini, and everyone's like, "Oh, we hate Gemini."
Geminis.
Well, we
like you definitely get a bad rap. That's for sure.
I'm so out of the astrology loop. Maybe you guys could. Do you? I've read some of your stuff on the Honey Pop, and let me just say, I love how you are always so positive. Like it's never exploitative.
Yeah.
Right? That's a word. I live for that because I feel like most of those outlets are trying to get clicks by attacking artists and putting like them in a bad light, and you are on the total other end. I just love that. But have you done any astrology on there?
I personally have not. I really don't think anybody else kind of touched on it. Probably because it does get nasty like that.
Damn Geminis.
Try it one day.
I know that's like definitely a category we're gonna have to tap into now.
Yeah, just keep it positive.
So as far as music, we've got all that down. What about what you do on your channel? What would you say that it again was just the music that got you into doing what you do as far as reviewing different albums, different artists, things like that?
Yeah, well, I was always a huge fan of those kinds of channels. Like that's definitely where it started. As far as like combined with wanting to put myself out there and breaking down that wall, because I'm by default like really reserved, really private, really shy. So all those things made it really hard for me to ever want to share my music or ever want to share my opinions with anybody about music. So being a fan of all those channels and knowing how I feel about music and what I could provide made me start it, all those things combined.
Do you have somebody like that you've followed a lot that does stuff similar to you that you really enjoy watching as well?
Well, I mean, currently you guys had him on, Steven.
I love Steven.
Definitely watching him. He's the fucking best.
Yes, he's a great guy.
I hope I can curse. It just slipped out. But even before him, I was a huge fan of Dylan Will Not Participate. He was like my go-to for this kind of stuff. So really him mostly because he was doing it like years ago. And yeah, he was fantastic. And really got me going.
Yeah.
And then that bled me into like Steven and the Anthony Akins and the Kayla Maries and all those awesome reactionaries.
I kind of asked in hopes that you would say that so we could bring up Steven and talk about him because he's great.
Yeah. He's a serious inspiration. I mean, he does everything the way that you'd like it to be done, but in his own way.
Right. That's awesome. Especially, and like, see, you're just a great person to talk to as well because you're so positive about it as well. You know, you're not like, no, I don't want to look up to anybody that's doing the same stuff I'm doing. I feel like sometimes people can get like that, you know?
That makes it so not fun.
Yeah.
I feel like if you think that way and you're going about it that way, it's just
absolutely,
it's a lonely world to be in. And you're looking at everything from such a shadowed perspective that I wouldn't want to be in.
Yeah, definitely. So how do you select what you review in your videos?
When I first started, I had no process whatsoever. It was like, and I have, like, I'll openly admit, it was a little mixed video. Like the first video that I ever really blew up. I think it was like the second video I ever posted, and it like exploded. And I was like, what's happening? This is ridiculously insane. I wasn't ready for any of that. And the reason that I picked the video was because the song just came out. I didn't even know who they were. Like I had heard of them, but they weren't in my, radar or whatever. So the song came out. I reacted to it. It blew up. And then that kind of led me into getting tons of suggestions. And that's kind of the direction I went in as far as like how I choose what I react to. Like it's not so much what's trending anymore. It's more so what I know the people that watch my videos kind of want to see, combined with like what I kind of want to check out. Like recently the Ash album and the Julia Michaels albums came out. I didn't get any requests for either of those, but I just really wanted to listen to those albums. And I figured I might as well throw a reaction onto them. So I did that.
Yeah.
And then you have like when Taylor Swift drops an album. Obviously, I wanted to hear that album, the Fearless re-record, but I also know people would go crazy if I don't react to it. So yeah. I did that. So it's like a combination of the two.
Yeah, I think I love watching reaction videos. I think it's one of my favorite things to do. And I like it when they react to something like I want to listen to or like I haven't listened to. Because it really helps me, like, you know, when I don't know an artist and I listen to like someone reacting to this song, I'm like, hey, this guy's good. I should like listen to more of this. So yeah, I think that's good.
I have a question for you as a person that if you don't mind, as a person that watches reaction videos. So you do watch videos, like reaction videos to artists that you are unfamiliar with?
Yeah, I love watching.
I find that really interesting.
Yeah, I think it's a way to, I feel like it's a way that someone's recommending music to me. I found it very interesting.
Yeah.
Like go like blind and don't know what's gonna happen.
I love that so much.
So you talk about how you like your video explode and like you've gained a large amount of followers in a very short time. How was that like for you, like out of nowhere you got like a bunch of followers? How was it?
It was like I said, I had no game plan process when I first started whatsoever. I was just like, let me try it, and whatever happens. If it goes well, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And so that went crazy, that video. And it was a little overwhelming, honestly. So I went a few days kind of staying away, you know, because I got in my own head about it, like this isn't real, right? Then I reacted to a Miley Cyrus album, the Plastic Hearts album, very shortly after. And it was like my second week on the channel. So then she shared my reaction on her Instagram and her Twitter.
Wow.
And at that point, I still just started. I'm 2 weeks in. I had like, maybe I just hit 1,000 subscribers. I don't really recall. That was the moment, just like my 5th grade moment where my teacher was like, oh, you can sing, where I was like, I should keep doing this.
Yeah.
Because that's the ultimate validation. Like for her to have watched it and felt like she should share this with her fans.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love the Plastic Hearts.
Oh my gosh.
And the album. It's
huge shout out to that album.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I cried a lot. I cried a lot during that album.
What are some pros and cons of having this large following?
I mean, the pros are that I get to listen to a lot of music that I would not have listened to. A lot of incredible music that I wouldn't have listened to. And I know that sounds kind of obvious, but the reason that I'm able to listen to all this Taylor Swift that I've listened to, or like a lot of mainstream artists, Five Sauce, or Shawn Mendes, Camila Cabello, on and on, is because the way I've always listened to music is once I find an artist, I will not listen to anything else for like,
I feel
like if they release an album, like that's my comfort album for like 2 years, nonstop, and I don't listen to anything else. And that's not because of how I feel about whatever other artist, it's just because of how much I love this current artist.
Yeah.
So that's the pro, is that it broke me out of that, where now I'm venturing out and I'm like, how did I not listen to Taylor Swift for 10 years? That was my whole era that I grew up in. And I just listened to Speak Now last night, and I'm almost like finished with her whole discography, and she's just incredible. As far as cons, sometimes you get serious. There's a term for it where you are like having some type of success, and then you don't really believe that it's real. I don't forget what it's called. I can't remember. It's a thing where you're having some kind of success, and like you're in your own head about it, where you're like, oh, all this good stuff is happening to me. How can this really be true? And that like can play with your mental health a lot. So that's a serious con. And I think that like I'm a pebble compared to big artists, right? Like say like a Justin Bieber or whoever like that. And I think they deal with the same kind of stuff, but like on a much larger scale.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big con that people don't think about when it comes to their careers. They're like, oh, they're rich and they're famous and blah, blah, blah. And it's like Louis Tomlinson has a song Just Like You. I think that's the perfect example of that feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. The pros you talked about, I am the same. Like I started listening to more music once I joined the Honeypop.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah. And like right now I'm wearing a Machine Gun Kelly shirt. I haven't listened to Machine Gun Kelly until I joined the Honey Pop. One of the first things here was like a template for an article for Machine Gun Kelly. And now I can't stop listening to Kelly.
That could have totally been my fault also.
Yeah, totally your fault and one of my best friends, a big fan. Yes.
I haven't listened to any Machine Gun Kelly.
Really?
I need to. I need to.
See, we always have this conversation with people as well. Like we always are like, you either love him or you hate him.
Oh yeah.
And like, I think the people that dislike him just dislike them because they're big like Eminem fans or like.
I'm a huge Eminem fan.
Really?
I'm well aware of the Kill Shot.
Yeah.
Rap Devil, right?
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, see, like that's the way you gotta be. Like I like both of them. Like I would never
like both of them.
Right. Like I would never be like, hey, like you can't listen to one and not the other. I hate when people are like that. So and that's the same thing, similar with what you said about Taylor Swift. I used to like be such a hater on Taylor Swift, but like honestly, like she's so good. Like you can't even like I don't know. I just was mad at her because she got Harry Styles and I didn't. So like
not the worst. That's not the worst reason, honestly.
So like, I mean, but she is incredible. She's an incredible artist. So I can definitely.
Yeah, she's incredible. I used to be a big fan, and then I was kind of like one of like the haters. I didn't really hate her.
Yeah.
I didn't really listen to her music. And then just recently with her new albums, I was like, oh my God, why did I ever stop listening to Taylor Swift? It's so good.
Yeah. Certain things can't be denied. I feel like we all go through that phase though, for sure. Where it's you just don't understand why everyone loves a certain thing. It makes you feel different or whatever. I don't know.
I actually did it too with One Direction in the beginning.
Yeah.
And my little sisters like loved them. And they're not even like relatively like super much a lot younger than me. But they loved them. And I was always like making fun of them and stuff. And then they were like, okay, cool. We're gonna go take you to a concert. And I lost my mind. I was like, oh my God, they're so good.
They're great. Yeah. I was a huge fan. I am a huge fan. I still cry because they are not together, but
I know, right? So horrible. But their solo careers are like really, really awesome. So
I noticed
it's made it all worth it.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it. I love Niall.
I love that man.
Yeah, he's incredible too.
Yes.
They're all just like so incredibly talented. It's like if you hate them too, like you're just being a hater. It's no reason, no real.
It just means you're not actually. It means you heard what makes you beautiful, and you saw the.
And that was it. Yeah.
And that's it. And you turned away and walked away. Yeah.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah.
So like talking about these kind of fandoms, do you ever run across like angry fans on your channel, and how do you deter them and like just satisfy them, make them be quiet?
Great question. I have gotten really lucky, really lucky. Like I've seen one comment that was kind of hateful, like in the whole time that I've been doing this, and the commenters kind of attacked that one, like kind of took care of that comment. Not attacked, but nicely handled the situation. But I would say the closest it's come to kind of hitting the fan was when the Sabrina Carpenter, Olivia Rodrigo stuff was going on, and my videos were kind of exploding. And I reacted to Sabrina Carpenter's video Skin after Driver's License came out, and like it's all like, who knows what's really going on? Who cares? I'm just there for the music.
Yeah.
And I didn't know like what any of the rumors were when I went into Skin. I just listened to it as a song. I had no clue. And then like the comments in that video were so toxic about like, oh, did you know that this is about this? And it's like, it was like TMZ in the comments. That's the closest it's come to that.
Yeah.
And I see it and I just kind of move on and take the music for what it is.
I think that's really important too. We've kind of touched on this a couple times here and there, but that's how we kind of at the Honey Pop try to like take things, is just kind of stay out of it, because there's no getting past it. There's no like, sometimes fans can just be relentless, and it's just like, you just gotta keep it cool and move past it.
Just move past it. Exactly. Yeah. And if the music's great, I'm not gonna not listen to the music.
Right.
I don't care what's going on, as long as these people aren't like hurting anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
And Olivia Rodrigo's music is, she's incredible. So I'm not stopping.
Incredible. Oh my God. Her song that came yesterday. Good for You.
I haven't listened to it yet, and I'm getting
it's so good. I think
I'm getting
Danny,
flooded.
like it. I don't know if you've listened to it, but Danny, I think you could like it.
I didn't. I haven't yet.
I think it's like very pop punk.
I'm gonna listen to it now for sure.
It's good. Olivia Rodrigo is so good. I'm excited for her album to come.
Yeah, she's a monster in the making.
Yeah.
In the best way, like monster of the industry.
Yeah. It's really cool to see careers like that blow up in front of your eyes. Like, that's how I felt with Machine Gun Kelly, because I've liked him for like a really, really long time. So I like followed his rap career. I live in Delaware, so I like saw him in a park once in Delaware, and like it's like crazy because now he's like one of the big artists on Firefly, which is a huge festival in Delaware. So it's like crazy. It's crazy to see him grow like and like just be this insanely huge artist from where he was. I love watching like artists blow up like that.
You saw him in Delaware.
Yeah.
That just feels so.
I'm not kidding. I'm literally not kidding you. My sisters, and well, I was the big fan of him, and I like introduced them to my sisters. And I was like, hey, like he's coming to this park. It was like called Firefox Tale or something. Like, I don't know. It was some weird, like small, super small show in Delaware. It was just him and like maybe a couple local rappers, and it was like literally in this park in the city. It was so weird, but it's so cool. It was a great memory. Like I got to meet him afterwards and everything. So it was like, okay, this is awesome. And now look at him. He's like selling out. He sold out his entire tour.
He's killing it.
So quick. Like,
and especially for like I said, I haven't listened to him, but I know he switched from rap to pop punk or something like punk.
Pop punk.
Yeah. Okay. So to make such a big jump and be successful in that, I think is insane.
Yeah. And even the people who like, again, I have to bring it up on every episode. It's literally my trademark, but I love pop punk. Like I am a pop punk guru. I love it. Mm-hmm. So it's crazy to see like both sides of the pop punk world, like combine to each other. Like even people that are like, don't really want to say he's good are like, you know what? They're like, you know what? He's actually good. Like you can't deny it. People, I mean, people kind of talk about him as like, he's getting the vibes of like Good Charlotte, Simple Plan type of music. And that was huge in the 2000s. Like
that was everything.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's great to see. It's cool to see. And I like him. So I don't care.
Heck yeah. That reminds me of Harry a little bit. With like the older rock fans. And then once Harry started venturing a little bit more in that direction, who didn't want to really accept him, but kind of had to because the music's so good.
Yeah.
Somewhat similar.
For sure.
An artist that I kind of saw grow was 5 Seconds of Summer. I remember when Louis tweeted about them, and it was like ages ago. And now they're this huge band that I love. And their style has changed so much from like the self-titled album from like Calm. It's so different and I love it. I think they're amazing.
I'm gonna make a confession, and
oh no,
I don't like to be politically correct. I try not to. I tried to not be politically correct on the channel, but at the same time, be kind, obviously. And just be honest, like a combination of the three, which is a really hard balance. Like if I don't like a song, I usually just do albums. And if I don't like a song on the album, I just kind of find what I liked about it and move on from it. But I'll never really say that I liked it because that wouldn't be honest. But that's not the point. The point is Calm is my favorite album I've covered on the channel. I love Calm by 5 Sauce. And I can't believe that album wasn't in my life for as long as I went without listening to it.
Yeah. Calm is, I'm not gonna lie, Calm is not one of my favorite albums. What? I think it's great, but Youngblood just owns it. You like
Youngblood better? Well, Ghost of You is
a great song.
Ghost of You is such a beautiful song.
Beautiful.
It lives in my heart for like forever and ever.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I just Youngblood, it was like they went out, like they did Sounds Good, Feels Good, and then they were like gone for a while, and then they came back with Youngblood, which was like such a different sound. And I met them in the Youngblood era. Like I
met them.
Managed to meet them. So I don't know. Youngblood has a special place in my heart. So it's like my favorite. Yeah.
You have that connection.
Yeah. The emotional connections to albums are always the best.
Definitely.
For sure. I will agree with you though. Calm is definitely my favorite as well. We did actually do an episode, I think the first season of the Honey podcast, and we like went through our favorite songs, and I ended up putting so many of the songs from Calm on it. I grew to love them a lot. Like I think I hated on them too. They were another band that I'm kind of a hater, I think. But hey, yeah.
But now you're in this, you're working your way through it.
So I mean I really enjoyed that album as well.
So good. So good. And I think that when you do like hate on things, and then you listen to something that you like hated on or thought you hated on or whatever, that like opens your mind to like, oh shoot, I should maybe stop thinking about this other stuff in that way. And I've been there. You've been like that works with food too. That works with so many things.
Yeah, right. Literally work with a lot of things.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. So what are some of your favorite artists or albums that you have talked about on your channel this year?
So Calm. Red I covered this year. That's probably my favorite album. I think I did Calm last year. I don't remember. I'd say Red by Taylor Swift is my favorite album I've listened to this year. I've listened to Romance by Camila Cabello. That's an incredible album. And she has I don't know if you've listened to Romance, but she has a song at the end of the album that's about her dad.
Oh,
and I didn't the song's called First Man, and like a lot of the songs are about Shawn Mendes. And I just in my head, and like as you're going through it, you're like, oh, okay, this last song is again going to be about Shawn Mendes. It says First Man.
Exactly.
I used to be like the first man you fell in love with or something. I don't know. And like it's about her dad, and it broke me. Like it broke me. I didn't want to upload it.
I gotta write this down.
Yeah.
Am I gonna cry because good?
Yeah, you're gonna cry.
First Man.
She did a performance of First Man, I think, in some awards.
In the Grammys.
Her dad was there. I cried so much.
It's so bad.
Such a beautiful song. Yeah. Just thinking about it once me to cry.
It's it's the saddest song ever.
Yeah, no, it definitely, you have to listen to it if you haven't.
I definitely will. I wrote it down. Yeah. You guys said emotional and I was already there. So. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So you've mentioned Little Mix. We talked about 5 Seconds
Little
to
Mix.
Summer.
How dare not even bring them up when you ask me what my favorite artists I've covered is. Little Mix.
How do you feel about the stigma that kind of surrounds bands like those, that they're only for like, fangirls?
I mean, toxic masculinity obviously plays a big part in that.
For sure.
And Shawn, I see, that's why I love, the problem with that is that we need more male artists like a Harry Styles, and Shawn Mendes actually touches on. Harry does it, I'd say, in like much more physical ways. Shawn Mendes does it in his music, where he talks about like it's okay for me to cry and feel a certain way. I think we need more male artists to break that stigma.
Yeah,
it's an unfair position for the woman to be in, to be the one to do it, because those men that feel that way aren't going to listen to them, unfortunately.
It's crazy that you say that, because I feel like Harry Styles is someone that's brought up so often, and like to hear Shawn Mendes brought up in that way and like it be with his music, that's incredible to think about. Yeah, I totally agree.
And it's recently, because his first 4, I think he's got 5 albums, and I've only listened to his last 4. And the previous, this was on his most recent album. So this is something he obviously worked within himself that he felt like he finally wanted to share and get out there to everybody. Because before that, he didn't really touch on a lot of that, because he was very much in a singer-songwriter sort of, I'm in love or my heart is broken.
Yeah, definitely.
Great music. But then on his most recent release, Wonder, he started talking more about that stuff. And like you said, it's great that, and Shawn Mendes has such a huge platform. So it's great. And someone like that does that.
Yeah, I think it's great that like we need more male artists to start talking about feelings and all that, because like it's always been like, oh, like women, like they cry and they have like all these feelings, but like men have them too. Like we're not talking about it. And like you said, like Harry Styles is super like in a physical way, like how he wore like the dress thing and all that thing. Like, yeah, there's some artists who, like Shawn Mendes, like you mentioned, that talk more about their feelings
in the emotional way. Yeah.
Doesn't MGK do some of that?
Yeah, he really does too. Honestly, I was just thinking about that. I didn't want to bring him up again.
Yeah, no, it's relevant.
Oh yeah, he talks. I feel like more. Well, I don't know. I feel like in this last album, Tickets to My Downfall, like he talks about the song "Lonely." I cry so much with that one. I think it's about his father, and there's another one about his daughter. So yeah, I think
so good.
There's so many songs that I cry, like MGK.
Yeah.
But I think I think male artists are definitely opening up more about feelings, and not like, cause like Shawn Mendes' first album and stuff was just like, oh, I am in love, and oh, I have a heartbreak, or just like that. Now they're touching more feelings, and I think that's awesome.
And the more of those artists do that, the less that the other ones are going to be able to get away with it, I feel like.
Yeah. It's been so taboo for so long, but now we're in the day and age where it's not anymore. And it's really awesome to see, because I'm just an emotional little being. I love that kind of music. I love it.
Songs that I can cry to. Yeah.
Yeah.
The best. And Little Mix talks so much about woman empowerment and bringing women together, and they incorporate their friendship in like half of their songs. It's amazing. And like, they have so much music that's all about lifting women up. But again, like men that are already in that mindset, they're not going to respond to that, unfortunately. And it sucks. And that's why we need, those male artists that have like that demographic going on to get them in the right page. Like, come on, let's get with it.
Yeah, definitely. I think a Little Mix, they just did this
speech. Were they dressed like men? Oh, the speech you said? I thought you were talking about the video.
No, in the Brits, when they won an award, they made this speech that was very powerful.
Yeah, Leanne.
Yeah, I just think they're great. I think they're very inspiring. I love them.
See, I really didn't listen to them before the Honey Pot, but as an editor, I've like gotten to read so many great articles about them and see how awesome they are. And it's just like so great to know that there's like women out there like doing the damn thing. It's just we love that. We love to see that.
We love that, doing the damn thing. And you have like a strong, independent, like Black woman within the band too, who speaks up on what she has to deal with as well. And she released a documentary, actually. I have to react to it.
We covered it.
You watched it?
No, we covered it. I didn't watch it yet, but we did cover it. Someone did write about it.
Someone did. I'm watching it tonight.
I got to check that out, because I heard great things about it.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
So now we can wipe off what you're doing tonight on the question list.
Yes, that's what I'm doing all night.
I think Halsey is another one who talks a lot about.
Oh yeah.
She's very empowering, and she's like, I love Halsey. She's one of my favorite artists.
Okay, I haven't checked in on her. I've heard good things.
Yeah, I think you will enjoy her.
Yeah, definitely.
I did see her. I saw her the last concert I went to. She was there. It was like one of those radio concerts where there's like 12 artists. She closed it, and she was amazing. Yeah.
She's incredible. I went to a concert. It was amazing. I loved it. One of my favorite concerts ever.
She has serious stage presence.
Oh yeah.
Serious.
She has this song with Machine Gun Kelly that's one of my favorites from Tickets to My Downfall.
I'm pretty sure people like, well, I'm not pretty sure. I've seen people go crazy for her in the genre. They're like, do more pop punk. Like they want her to cross over too.
Yeah, it's crazy. Everyone's like, crossover. Yeah.
And she's having a baby now too.
Yep.
I think.
Yeah, she is.
It just makes her even like stronger and better.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
The most like perfect pregnant lady I've ever seen in my life.
Definitely. And it's so important because she lost a baby, and she's talked about it publicly. And how the industry was pushing her to do a concert right after that happened.
Oh my God.
And she was like not ready.
I can't.
Yeah, no, she talks about it, and I think when I saw that she was pregnant, I was so happy. Yeah, I think it's amazing. I can't wait.
I wonder.
It's probably gonna be beautiful.
Oh, of course.
I wonder what that feeling is like to be in that position and know that you're Halsey and you're dealing what you're dealing with physically, and you have fans that are supposed to love you, asking you, like demanding concerts from you, essentially.
Right. And they have no idea what's going on the other side. That's like the dark side of the music industry. That's certainly the part of the music industry, even if I am not talented in music, but if I was, I wouldn't be able to handle that. That's just so hard. I can't imagine.
Because like we just see one side and it's usually like the good side. And we don't see what happens like behind. We don't know what's really happening in their lives. And I just like whenever an artist is not active and something like that, I hate when people are like, oh, why are you like active and like talking with us? And I'm like, dude, you don't know what's going on in his life.
Yeah. Well, that's
like they're actually humans.
My favorite artist is Zayn, and he's he's in the world by far. No one comes close.
Yeah.
And he's the ultimate turtle. And he has to constantly deal with, Zayn, why aren't you promoing? Why aren't you performing? You know, this, that. But people don't think like, well,
he's going through things. He's a human being, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a good one to have to deal with those things with too. I honestly cannot imagine having the spotlight on you so constantly. It's crazy.
Nonstop, literally.
Yeah, literally. Because like everything you do, someone's gonna be watching, someone's gonna be there to like critique and say stuff about it.
Every step. You can't date someone. You can't, whatever it is.
Can't break up with someone.
Can't break up with someone.
When there's drama, when there's like someone's dating someone, I'm like, dude, you don't even know the person. If they haven't talked about who they're dating, it's because they want to keep it private. Like, don't push it. I sometimes hate fans a lot.
That's one thing I refuse to ever comment on the channel is like artist relationships or who they might be singing about, where they might be, the song might be, like whatever it is. I
don't even go there.
I'm not even close. The only one I do it for is, again, Shawn Mendes and Camilla. But that's because they're so open and public with it. And like in interviews, they very specifically said like the whole album's about Camilla, and Shawn's like smiling so bright.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's obviously so important to him. So I want that to be a part of when I react to it.
Because like for their music, they're important like to each other. Like Camila writes about Shawn and Shawn writes about Camila. So it makes sense to talk about like their relationship. But when they don't talk about it and you're just assuming that they wrote it about this person, like that's just wrong. Like don't do that. Like no. Yeah.
The worst. Another thing Taylor Swift's dealt with for a long time, which I didn't know, but
I did that to her. Oh my god.
No, I mean, hey, you learned and you moved on. That's all that matters. Like cancel culture, again, another thing I don't really believe in.
Yeah.
If you were someone that like you just said, like you did that, say you were this huge celebrity that did that,
right?
And you might get canceled by Taylor Swift's fans. But I don't believe in that. You should be able to learn and move on from that.
I agree.
We've talked about it in the podcast about cancel culture before, and we hate it. We think that there's always space to learn, and if you're just like, if someone did something, like you can teach in a good way. Like yes, you can let the person know that they did something that was wrong, but like cancel them for that. It's like no, just allow them to learn and grow. Because if not, they're not growing and you're just like pushing them.
And they'll never like learn or try to learn again because they're getting so much negativity from it, which is, I mean, I hate it. It's so tough to see. It's tough to see. And it's also like super prominent in like super popular bands and like artists, which is tough because that's exactly who we cover a lot of the time. And I'm not saying it always happens to us, but I've seen it happen so much to other like publications, to other artists, all that. It's just like awful to see, Are
they like, why are you covering this artist or stuff like that sort of situation?
Yeah. Or like, why is this person getting covered more than this person type thing? And again, we haven't really seen it a lot, but even the little bits we see, we just kind of move past it. It's not something we spend a lot of time on because you can't.
It's just so dumb. Don't you know they did drugs 2 years ago? What are you doing? Okay.
Like, because they have all this pressure from fans that won't like leave them alone and let them live their lives. No wonder they wild out like that. Oh my God.
And I feel like if everyone had the spotlight like they do, we will all be pointing out mistakes from everyone and we will be like canceling everyone because we don't have a spotlight every time, like every single day, but they do. So like every single little mistake they do, it's going to be pointing out and they're going to cancel them for everything. And it's it's dumb.
It's so dumb. You know who I was a huge fan of? See, this is my example every time someone wants to talk about cancel culture with me. I used to be, and I don't think I've ever said it on the channel.
I'm so excited.
Like, huge, like him and Usher, probably my favorite singers growing up. Big R&B fan. R. Kelly.
Oh,
I know, but that's like that's black and white though.
Right.
That's the difference to me. Like if a judge made your decision for you,
then we'll cancel you.
I don't need to make that call.
Right.
Goodbye.
Exactly. For sure.
If I'm not that's not my call to make on other people living their lives that are hurting people is the key.
Yeah. I can get behind that explanation completely. That makes, yeah. It's no like, it's black and white. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah, well, with that situation,
that one. Otherwise, we're letting you guys learn. But
yeah.
So as far as and I feel like I always say this wrong, the Patreon, is that how you say it?
Yeah, Patreon.
Okay, Patreon. I say words wrong all the time. So can you tell us a little bit about yours? What can your fans expect from you on there? And just how you use it, what you like about it, what you don't.
Yeah, so I thanked everyone on Patreon literally a couple days ago and on Twitter, and because I just hit 1,000, which is ridiculous, because that is such reassurance beyond anything that people would spend their hard-earned money on that. But what they can expect from that is like a community that it's a community to start with, and we're constantly talking about music, and it's much more than me just reacting to things, which is like what it mostly is. Obviously, that's the source of it. But there's a lot of communicating within comments, within videos of like friendly communication. Like, oh, well, this was my favorite song on the album. This was my favorite song on the album. And like much more specifics, obviously. But it's a music community.
Yeah.
Which is great.
I think it's been awesome for a lot of artists, especially through quarantine, to like connect with fans on such a deeper level. So it's been like really awesome.
It's much more intimate, much more personal, because YouTube has certain guidelines, obviously. So
that was my next thing. You got me.
Yeah, me and YouTube I can't say we don't have a good relationship because it's one-sided. Like, they don't care about me. But I just mean, like, you never know what you can put onto YouTube. You usually find out the hard way when it just doesn't go up. So I can just put my full self onto Patreon, and I'm so thankful for that, because I feel like YouTube misses a certain part of you when you have to take out like 60 to 70% of what you're listening to. And I've never wanted to be that person that there's a lot of and that, like, if this works for someone, whatever, like, that's great for you. But there's a lot of people on YouTube, like a lot of reactors, and it's like you probably get like a minute of the video or whatever, and that's just something that I never connected with personally. I always enjoy longer formats. Like, when I like a YouTuber and they have a Patreon, I always sign up immediately because I want to get the best full version of them.
Yeah, because definitely YouTube, I think, recently has become like a place where everything is kind of shortened out, and
that's what it is, shortened out.
Like, you don't get the full experience, I would say, because there's a lot of like things that you have to remove and stuff. So
it's been like kind of honestly like a game changer for people, especially reaction YouTubers, to use that, because it's just like, isn't there like, there's a current copyright like crackdown on YouTube?
They added a lot more elements to it. Yeah, you have to go through a lot more steps. I don't make money off of YouTube,
right?
Because of the steps they went through, especially with what I do. Like, I do full albums, and YouTube copyrights per song.
Wow.
So if you do one song reactions, you might make money. You still probably won't though, but you might. But because I have like 16 songs per reaction, because it's a full album, it's too much to get through as far as the algorithm goes. So I just don't make anything. But it's fine because I have the Patreon community.
Right. That it's been such a blessing, I think, in disguise for people like you who do reaction videos, for artists in general. And with being locked down, we're not able to go out and create and do all the things that we want to do. So yeah, I'm totally on board with that.
I don't know. It's not sustainable for me personally without it. So I'm thankful for it just for that alone. Especially the way I do it, because my favorite way to listen to music is to listen to it within an album. And it's always been that way. It's always going to be that way. So if I was doing like one song constantly on YouTube, it just wouldn't be true to myself and because I love to like connect tracks. Like, oh, track 2 and 8.
You got to listen to an album in full. Yeah. That's how you do it.
Exactly. So that's just how I'm going to keep doing it. And YouTube doesn't really work great for people that like to do that.
Yeah. So you did touch on this like a little bit before, but I'm going to make you jump back into it. But sure. How do you like, can you tell us more about how you handle something if you listen to it and you just don't enjoy it? Like that's a great question. I love that question, honestly, because that's like the most honest question you can ask me, especially when it comes to reactions. Yeah.
Because there's definitely a stigma on reactions. Are they faking it? I'd say that's the biggest one by far. Couple things. Like I said, I don't do single songs, so that makes it easier because I'm a lot more likely to not like a single song.
Right, than an album.
If I'm listening to a full album, what are the odds that I'm not gonna like the whole album? Like, there's so much I'm gonna find to like. If I don't like one song out of 13, I always say like, well, that's not my favorite song on the album. Then I just kind of move past it. So it's easier to approach things that way. Like if I didn't like a whole album, then you really butchered the album. I don't know what to say.
They might just have to give it up.
Maybe. I mean, it's up to the artist. But that hasn't happened. Thankfully, it works out. There's been, and like I said, I mostly stopped doing the single song stuff. But there's been single song reactions I've done that I didn't upload because I was like, and again, transparency. I did a Billie Eilish reaction. It was a single song. I didn't like it. I knew I'd just get. She has such a big fan base. I knew swarmed. So I didn't upload it. And I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, this is fantastic.
Right.
This is so good, because people are.
You can definitely tell when people are.
You're going to see that.
Yeah.
Especially if you watch my other videos where I'm crying my eyes out over First Man.
Right.
You're going to know the difference. Well, I can't do that. I can never get away with that.
I respect that. I definitely respect that.
And I love Billie Eilish, by the way. If anyone sees this,
sometimes you just don't take a song. That's okay.
Yeah. That's it. Okay. It was the James Bond song. I forgot what it was called.
Oh, No Time to Die.
Yeah, it just wasn't for me. But I love, she did her documentary. I love that. And I haven't listened to her music yet, but she did a bunch of performances in that documentary that were amazing. So I can't wait to check out. Oh, and Your Power. Oh my God.
Oh my God. It's
exactly.
a good song.
Like the world needed that song exactly when it came out.
At that time.
So there you go. She got a big win for me there.
Yeah, no, I love Billie Eilish. I was even going to her concert. But like last year she released like 3 songs, I think, or maybe 2 that I didn't like at all. And I remember like I had this other friend who's like a huge Billie Eilish fan. And I was like, I didn't really like them. She was so mad. It's okay to not like a song. Like you don't have to like all of them.
Absolutely. That's how music works, right?
It's all yeah. I hate when I dislike when people do that. Like you're not gonna like every single song an artist puts out, no matter how much you love them. We've talked about Machine Gun Kelly a million times today, but I'm gonna plug in once more. Machine Gun Kelly podcast. Once more, like I did not like Bloody Valentine. Like I did not like that song, and I like felt like when people would say it. And see, look at her reaction now. She's like, "Oh my God!" I just did not. I did not like that one. Like it wasn't for me. But I've loved I still like will listen to the song. I don't hate on it. Like it just wasn't my favorite off the album. Hey, you did it back to me when you said Lace Up wasn't your favorite album. Okay.
I was gonna say like you don't like Bloody Valentine and. For you, Lace Up, the album is so good.
It's an emotional connection for me.
Yeah, exactly. And like, it's fair. You don't like Bloody Valentine. Yeah. Lace Up, and that's good. Like,
people have opinions, It's like, it's and that's like, I feel like also like, again, I'm gonna do it, but I'm on a bunch of like pop punk groups on Facebook, and like people get so mad, like so mad if you don't like something. And it's just like crazy, like, hi, I can have an opinion too.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to like
Yes.
it. Like
exactly.
or I can like it and you can't. Like it's not the end of the world. I don't even know you. Like, why are you yelling at me?
Exactly.
So like, yeah, that's definitely, yeah.
That's the best kind of conversation though. Like the one that you just had literally about My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah.
That's the greatest conversation you can have. I almost prefer that conversation over a conversation about how much I love the song, because it makes me think a little bit more. Like people have different perspectives. Like that's pretty awesome. Like this song actually means more to me now because I like it. One less person likes it, so it's more personal to me.
It's more for me.
More mine.
And honestly, that's the thing too. Like certain, like you said this earlier, like having emotional connections to songs or albums make them so much better in your book, and that's okay. Like I'll say that in groups sometimes. I'll say it on here. Like I just liked it because I was emotionally connected to it. Like I went through a breakup, or I did this or that, and you just like love it because of that reason, or it reminds you of a certain place and time. Like that's okay. We can do that.
Are you supposed to tell the person like, did you not go through a breakup when you heard it? What's wrong?
Yeah, like okay. sorry, my life sucks worse than yours. Like
I don't understand.
I think it also happens. I was talking to a friend about this, that when people like hate an artist and like when you like it and they're like, oh my God, why do you like it? And I'm like, you don't have to like it.
Yeah.
I like it. That's my point of view. You don't have to like it. Just listen to your music. I listen to mine.
Yeah. I'm not forcing you to. Like, it's okay.
It happens to me a lot with 5 Seconds of Summer and One Direction.
Wow.
I have some friends that just don't like them. And I love them. And I tend to post a lot about them and like and their music. And they're just so hateful.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you don't have to hate on it. Just don't listen to it.
Any single time that I write about Machine Gun Kelly for the Honey Pop, like, and I post it on any of my socials, my friends are like, oh my God, not him again. I hate him, blah, blah. I'm like, listen, leave me alone. Either you support me, read my stuff that I write, or like, don't. But you don't have to comment you hate him every single time. I get it.
Exactly.
Yeah, move on. I grew up in the Bronx. I don't know if you're familiar with the Bronx, New York. Mm-hmm. And that is not a place where people are playing One Direction.
No, certainly not.
To put it lightly. A lot of just like East Coast rap and hip hop. That's it. So I have a lot of friends I went to high school with that do not agree with how much I love One Direction. And like, but they're not constantly attacking me about it. Like we've been friends for so long. They understand that I've loved them for years and years. They more deal with it. And just that's Michael. He's gonna love Zayn no matter what. Yeah. Right. But we don't get it.
That's the kind of friends we need around here, supportive ones.
Yeah. No, like 2 of my best friends are huge Machine Gun Kelly fans. And I'm a huge Corpse fan. And like they released the song Corpse and Machine Gun Kelly. And I was super excited and I was talking about it. And they were like throwing shit at me about liking Corpse. And I'm like, just don't listen to it.
Yeah, if you don't like it, you don't like it. It's cool.
Be happy. I love Corpse. I think his voice is great. And I'm happy listening to it. So.
Yeah.
Wouldn't everything be so much easier?
Yes.
Say what you want freely about how you feel.
I hate the gatekeeping within, like, I hate it. And I hate it within certain genres. I hate it, period. Like, all of it. Like, if, like, for example, I love pop punk, but if I, again, say something about 5 Seconds of Summer, One Direction, people are like, what? Why are you talking about that? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not allowed to listen to both. You don't have the right to talk about that. It's the worst. Oh my gosh.
It's the gatekeeping. That's what I came into One Direction fandom late. I came in 2015. And there's definitely, like, I have so many feelings about things in a good and bad way. And I know that, like, there's original gatekeepers that would disagree vehemently with it. And if I ever shared those feelings that I definitely have and feel strongly about, I'm sure that I would get sworn by the original gatekeepers. Just being like, well, that's how he feels. That's how he feels.
And they might be the scariest to deal with.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say. But I feel that too, because I was late to the game with One Direction.
I feel like there's a lot of hate, like with One Direction, 5 Seconds of Summer, for new fans. Like they even have names for new fans, and I'm like, why are you mad that there's more people knowing the band you love? It means the band you love is really good, and they're getting more fans. Like,
and they're doing what they came here to do. Like they're making money. Like, isn't that what you wanted for them?
Yeah, like it's. I think it's ridiculous that they hate on new fans.
More fans is more demand, which means that you're less likely for them to just give up on music. Like they might keep going.
Great point. I never thought of that one.
For real.
The more fans, the better for your artist. They'll be more motivated.
Yep.
Yeah. So what are some artists that you haven't reviewed yet, but you're looking forward to?
Oh, it's such a long list. And because I do a lot of discographies. So like I get caught up in an artist for a while, like a Taylor Swift who has so many albums. And it takes me a while because I do space it out a little bit so I can absorb an album for a little bit. But the ones that I haven't touched at all that are coming soon because they're in my immediate like mind and planner actually. Lorde is one. Lady Gaga is another one. They're the next two. A bit Billie Eilish because I've yet to listen to any of her like albums. I know she's got the new album coming out. So those are the next three I'd say that I haven't heard at all. Chloe and Halle, I'm doing their album too next week. So those four. I haven't listened to them on the channel yet, but I can't wait.
Very awesome. You're gonna have to plug Machine Gun Kelly up in there soon.
Oh yeah, Machine Gun Kelly.
Like we're gonna be expecting.
I know we're gonna have to get on that Patreon, huh? You request that one.
You gotta do like a ticker in the podcast where it says like Machine Gun Kelly counter, and like every time it's mentioned, you do like a number.
No, they're good. They'll fire me. It's literally my two go-to lines are I say this every time, and then it's like I segue into Machine Gun Kelly or pop punk. So it's like one side will be Machine Gun Kelly, the other side will be pop punk, and it'll just
it's Danny's trademark.
Ding constantly.
That's you though. Like I find a way to slip The Office into every conversation.
Oh, I respect that.
I don't care if you haven't seen it. I'm gonna slide it in somewhere. Like I just did now.
Honestly, we asked this question to Steven, so now I'm going to have to also ask it to you because you brought it up. Who is your favorite character off The Office? Does it change?
It does. Well, I mean, it's Michael, but that's not really fair. It's definitely Michael, but I'll go second favorite because Michael it's too easy.
Yeah.
Like the character growth is just too much to look past.
It really is.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so unfair. I have a WWJD tattoo. It's what would Jim do? Because I'm always thinking if I'm confused about what I should do, what would Jim do? Just do what Jim would do. Usually the right decision.
Honestly, and I said this too before, but I love the Kelly and Ryan dynamic. It kills me.
It's the best.
It kills me.
It's the best. It's everything involving them is the best.
Oh my God, it kills me. Like I'm laughing thinking about it because like it's just so good.
It's so good. It's so toxic.
It's so
but it's not real, so it's okay. Like it's okay to root for that because it's not real.
Oh my God, it's just hilarious.
If that was real life, I'd probably be like, Ryan, like you're a bad person, man.
Yeah, like maybe get some help. What about your favorite episode? Can you pinpoint your favorite episode?
I mean, Dinner Party, Scott's Tots, those are obvious ones.
Yeah. Dinner Party is so good.
The moving the TV, when you move the TV on the wall.
No, I lose it.
Right. And then he's like, that's whatever. He's describing how expensive the TV and how she has to pay for it, her zero salary. So
oh my gosh.
I like arcs. Like I love when Idris Elba was there for a few episodes. I love that arc. Like they had the new boss and Michael Scott like got fired or quit and started Michael Scott's paper company.
Yeah. Yes.
I love that arc. And I love actually the arc. Michael was gone, but I love the arc with they go to Tallahassee and Dwight gets a appendicitis.
Yes.
And storms into the meeting with like an IV.
It's so good. And Florida Stanley, it's just like
Florida Stanley, yes. The Stanley we always knew that was like hidden underneath.
In there. He was in there the whole time.
Finally had his chance to shine.
Oh my gosh.
When they took Stanley and Florida Stanley.
Yes. When they took that off Netflix, I was so sad, but I did download Peacock.
Because Harry Potter's on there too. You have to.
I was like, you know what? It's like I had to. The Office is just too good. You can't pass that up.
It's my comfort.
I have to say, Benny
Hanna. I have this right here. Always.
I love that.
Michael Beveraggi, regional manager. It's all my
love that.
Yeah. Benny Hanna Christmas is my favorite episode for sure. It's when they go to like Benny Hanna's and
is that when Dwight's sitting at the end of the
yes,
and then Jim is telling him like the wrong.
He's like he wants to know how to like stuff a goose or something.
Yeah,
he just
Dwight's like you
first yeah. It's so good. Oh my god, I love it. I love that show.
And then he brings is that the one where he brings the girls back to the office
and he marks her arm because he can't tell. It's so that's my I said this again before, but I'm gonna say it again now. My roommate and I, like, if we're having like a bad day, we'll be like, you want to watch Benny Hanna Christmas? It's our go-to to like make us feel better.
I have to rewatch that one. It's been a while.
It's really good.
Yeah. I have actually like I started watching The Office this year.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm only on season 7.
You're almost
exactly
there.
where Michael leaves.
Have you gotten to the episode where he leaves?
Yeah, I'm in that episode. Literally watched it last night and cried.
Did you? I was gonna say, yeah, that's.
Oh my gosh, I literally am not kidding. I did not watch the last episode for like 4 years.
That's the hardest I cried, but I don't want to. I don't want to.
I won't either.
Like last season, so
I'm telling you, we'll talk about it. We'll have to bring you back and talk about it again because I swear to you, I didn't watch that episode for like 3 years after it aired because I was like, I can't let go. And I like literally probably last year during quarantine, I finally watched it. And of course, naturally cried. So
yeah, yeah. The moment.
Yeah. Oh my god.
You see that face?
No, I lost it. I was. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Thinking about it makes me want to cry right now. We're definitely gonna have to do a follow-up episode now.
Seriously, like I'm doing some of the film stuff on a second channel, so I'm so into that. So into that.
Awesome. Well, that's a great way to wrap this up. We're gonna definitely bring you back for an Office update. But is there anything else that you want to share with fans that we can like look forward to coming from you in the future? Any plugging your music here? Just anything that we can look forward to.
I would say just look out for a full album in the fall, but
nice.
Again, that stuff won't be rolling out till summertime, so I won't really get too deep into it. But if you haven't watched any of the videos on YouTube, check them out. And if you like me, keep watching.
Yay.
If you don't, then
just don't watch it.
Just don't watch, please. Just don't be mean.
Yes. Well, thank you again for coming out. That's it for us for today. We just are so grateful that you took the time to join us, and we'll see you guys next time on the Honey Podcast.